in the world of sport. Now, here's your host, Roy Firestone.
Hi there, everybody. It was the greatest upset in heavyweight boxing history, shrouded in recrimination and controversy, the end of an era, some said. In an interview in the Los Angeles Times Tuesday, Mike Tyson says he wasn't in shape to fight Buster Douglas. He says he was embarrassed by the loss. He also says he's been a virtual recluse since, not wanting to see people, not wanting to be in that awkward position of explaining his fall from eminence. A lot of people, Mike says, don't know how to respond. Well, one man did, Evander Holyfield, the man who would have been next in line to fight Mike Tyson. Evander simply asked Mike if he was okay on the plane coming home and offered Tyson words of encouragement. Evander Holyfield, says Mike Tyson, is a very nice guy. But do nice guys ever finish first in the fight game? Evander Holyfield thinks he can, given the shot, and that shot may yet be upcoming against the heavyweight champ of the world, right there, Buster Douglas. That is just one of the things we'll talk about with the top heavyweight contender, Evander Holyfield, today on Sports Look. But first, here is the #1 contender for the heavyweight championship of the world, heavyweight Evander Holyfield. I'm reading the World Boxing magazine, this one right here. This is the June issue. And the lead article is Evander Holyfield. It says, "The wait is over." This was before the Tyson fight. The wait ain't over. There's more waiting and more. We've already waited 8 months. Now it looks like it could be maybe a year, could be even a year and a half before you get to fight a major honcho. It's got to be killing you, the inactivity.
Well, yes, it is for us getting in the ring to prove to the people that I'm a fighting machine. But right now, I just have to take the bitter with the sweet, stay in the gym, train, and trying to just work on things to become better.
But gym training and the ring are two different animals. There's a minimum now. It's going to be at least June 18th. Contractually, you can't fight anybody till at least June 18th. But then you have the strategic issue. You don't want to fight anybody June 18th that, you know, could be a monster in there, knock you out. I'm just being hypothetical here. I'm not saying it'll happen. Take away your shot at Douglas and your shot at Tyson, right?
Well, with me, I feel that I can beat anyone.
Of course.
And I guess it's up to my manager, Ken, and my trainer, Lou, and Joy, to find the right opponent that will fit my style and that pretty much give me a test. But I'm willing to fight anybody.
You really, though, first of all, want Buster Douglas and need Buster Douglas. If you fight Douglas and you beat him, then you get Tyson. You know, so you have two huge paydays. Strategically, that's the way you want to go. But it looks like right now they're going to hold this thing up in the courts for some time, and there's a possibility that King may get Tyson and Douglas the rematch first, which would be a violation of the laws, I guess, of the governing bodies of boxing.
Yeah, that would be wrong because everybody knows that I've been ranked #1 for a year now, and I deserve it. And if the Federation do what they're supposed to do, then Buster will have to fight me. Right now, I'm just on ice, but I will be ready whenever the time comes.
A couple of questions regarding Mr. Douglas. First of all, we congratulate him on being a champ, and I'm sure you do too. We see him on all the talk shows. We see him opening county fairs now, cutting ribbons, kissing babies, doing all the things, and he's making the big bucks, and he deserves it. We don't see him in the gym. How much could celebrity, fame, and the championship affect him negatively?
Well, it can hurt him pretty bad if he forget what got him there, and what's got him there, being in the ring and being successful. Now, if you let, I guess, all the fame go to your head and you get your priorities all lined up wrong, then it could affect him real bad, cause him to lose the title in the next fight.
The other way, of course, is the way that we were talking to Kevin Rooney about, and that being a champion makes him a much better fighter psychologically, that you change once you wear that belt. You start believing in yourself, too.
Well, that's possible, but I feel that when you fight a fight and you just got up for one time, actually, he's heavyweight champion of the world. Only further he can be is heavyweight champion. And I feel that if he fight a guy like me, he's going to have to prove that he every man that he say he is.
You're a hungry fighter is what you're saying. You're the hungrier fighter.
Well, I feel that I am.
Let's talk about Mike for a second. Do you view Tyson differently than you did 6 months ago? Would your preparation for Tyson be somewhat aided by the fact that the knowledge that he is gettable, that he is mortal, that he can go down with a punch?
Well, that's something that I always knew, that he could be knocked down. I've seen him get knocked down in amateur, and I've seen him bounce back from defeats.
But you said he was an ordinary fighter when push came to shove. What did you mean by that?
Well, what I mean that everybody always seen Tyson dominate the fight from start to the finish. When you take a fighter and you put him in someone just as good as he, then it shows you as the guy have that champion attitude and that whatever it takes to overcome a fight. But every fight I ever seen Tyson in, and it's really, really tough, he lost the fight. He lost a couple of fights to Henry Tillman. He lost in Al Evan. These are fights that was a cross bridge where guys fought him back, and it was a tough fight, and he just didn't have it to pull it off.
I'm going to ask you your advice for Tyson. You're not Tyson's management, you're not his trainer, but there are some who suggest that Kevin Rooney should be back in his corner, that he should dump Don King. Any kind of involvement he has with Don King, it's all doing him some harm. What would you do? Who would you bring in to change him, to refocus him, or would you just keep it the way it is if you were in his corner or you as advisor?
Well, I like Tyson as a person. I respect all the things he accomplished as a boxer because I feel that he's an asset to the game. And I feel that you have to go back and look where your downfalls. And I feel that in every aspect, you need someone that you respect and you trust. And I feel that he do have a lot of trust in Kevin Rooney. And Kevin Rooney was the man that didn't care what he said to Tyson. All he wanted Tyson to do is get the job done. And a lot of times you need that guidance.
Do you think he was in any way disabled, shall we say, in the corner by his corner men in Tokyo?
I really can't say that because I don't know what actually they told Tyson in the corner and how their relationship. The only thing I can go by is how he performed when he was with Kevin Rooney.
Let's handicap some of the others in line, the red-hot heavyweights, the guys who would have a chance, say, at the heavyweight title besides yourself, besides Buster and Mike Tyson. Let's start with Ray Mercer. Size him up for us.
Well, Ray Mercer, he's older and he's mature, but I think right now he hadn't been tested to the point where he fought in a top 10 opponent that would legitimate say that he's a good heavyweight.
Gold medalist, of course, so he has that going and he's got the glamour. How about Razor Ruddock? People talk about him being an untested fighter, but a fighter that's potentially a devastating puncher.
Well, we would know when he fight Dokes. Dokes is a good fighter, and I think to prove that he's ready for a title fight is the win over Dokes, because Dokes has proven himself to be a great fighter.
How about Riddick Bowe, the silver medalist in the '88 games?
Pretty much the same. I feel that Bowe do have the potentials, and the fact that he's young and he hadn't had the proper fights to elevate him to the level for a championship fight is just remains to be seen.
And George will be now 43 years old, though he did look impressive against Jerry Cooney, even though some people said anyone could have looked impressive against Jerry Cooney.
Well, I like George, and George gets the job done. He haven't fought a top 10 opponent yet, and only thing negative I have to say that he gonna cause a lot of old fighters to get hurt because everybody want to come back because of George. But I think George is a good fighter, and I feel that once he proved that he can beat a guy in top 10, he should get the opportunity to fight for a title.
There's no chance that June 18th fight might be you and George Foreman.
Well, I feel that if the money's right, anything is possible.
A couple others. Gary Mason, he's a power-hitting Brit. Reminds some people of Frank Bruno. What do you think?
Well, I've seen him fight Tyrell Biggs, and he's a hard hitter, but I think it shapes up the heavyweight division and kind of bring a little spark because you got someone from England that pretty much probably can beat a guy in the top 10.
And Michael Dokes, you had all you want from him. He was terrific, wasn't he, in your fight? That was one of the best fights of the year last year.
Yeah, I think Michael Dokes is a great fighter. I feel that if he's in the shape that he was in when he fought me, there's no way this man would miss that opportunity to get another shot at the title.
Before we go, there is the criticism of Holyfield, and we've talked about this before, not that you're not the dazzling fighter, because you're exciting to watch, but in a fight like against Alex Stewart, say, you didn't finish the guy off quickly, that you don't evoke in the public's view all the drama. You don't capture the imagination of the public. We've heard this stuff before. If you had any criticism of you and your career at this point, If you had to be critical of yourself, what would you say the criticisms would lie?
Well, I feel that I'm a patient fighter, and I think a lot of people might criticize me because they don't know the art of boxing. Mm-hmm. The art of boxing is to hit the guy and not let him hit you, and not just to go out and just hit a guy with one shot. Of course, if you can do it and it worked for you, fine. But with me, unfortunately, I'm not that type of fighter, so I have to do what's going to elevate my career and keep me moving towards the championship. And so, you know, people criticize me about just little things, but I get the job done.
He definitely does. 24-0, and he is, as he wears on his jewelry, the real deal. Evander Holyfield, we hope you get a fight soon because you're a fighter and you deserve to fight. And I hope the courts don't hold you up too long. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
We'll come back more on Sports Lookout.